Hey guys, welcome back. DeFi, Degens, Drip, and Farm for Poverty. I'm your host, Drip Coach, dropping knowledge bombs on all Forex Shark related projects. And in today's video, we got a little alpha that was dropped in the chat. I know a lot of you are not in the Telegram, so I hope this will come off as relatively new news and alpha for you. I am recording this video in advance, so you may have heard, by the time you listen to this, you may have heard about it or not, or it could have just snuck by and I'm still providing you some quality content. It's hard to keep videos going every day without anything really new developing, but I'm going to review that alpha that's in here, some additional alpha dropped about the PIGGY dividends and the borrow and lending coming up, as well as a bigger yield being paid out potentially to PIGGY stakers. All this was coming from the Telegram. But first, a recap on the Yahoo Finance article. If you weren't aware, we are on Yahoo Finance. It's a really well-written article. So we've been on BSC News, now on Yahoo Finance. So just getting these types of things out is definitely good for the brand awareness because it adds SEO backlinks. If you don't know how that works, just basically when people search into Google, the more websites that are talking about Animal Farm, then the more authority essentially Google gives that search criteria to show our website. So this is positive for sure. And it was apparently written by someone at Access Wire. So they wrote the article. Don't really know much about their company, but that is cool to see. So that's like technically like two different websites that are now kind of generating SEO traffic for the Animal Farm and information about it. So nothing really new in here that you probably haven't read, but you can definitely check this out. You can do a search for this article. It's pinned in the Forex Shark calls, and you can just Google search it as well. All right, now let's get into the alpha. So the alpha and what I put on the thumbnail, not clickbait. Forex talked about this, but he's not giving a lot of information on it because he doesn't want us to basically ruin it. The community has a way of jumping into things and moving forward and possibly crushing deals before they get started. So a couple days ago now, when you read this or are watching this, he said he's been talking about, someone asked about partnering with casinos, and he said it's going to happen regarding Scratchy. And then he said, I have a meeting with a top UFC fighter coming up as well who is interested in branding. So that's huge. I don't know what that's going to come about or what that is, but the point is Forex is always moving forward and trying to do new things and get more awareness. Sometimes the projects don't pull through, but at least he continues to try and innovate and collaborate. So that is awesome to hear. And somebody followed up with that and asked, who is it, and lists some names. And he said, a champ, don't want to say who because people will go message them and compromise the deal. So just kind of in the initial workings right now, kind of the same way that Ray from Bartertown Conglomerate said he was going to get into Andrew Tate and Sneako's kind of sales funnel and try to meet people in there and move up the chain. So we don't know what can come from that, but the point that is bullish is that he's always on the hunt looking for something and trying to make deals happen for these projects. And speaking of deals for the project, we can go to some additional dividends that he's looking at getting paid out for PIGGY stakers. So he said, we are working on something very big as well. Currently right now, only LPs are being lent to PancakeSwap to earn yield. We may have a really solid low risk lending model for some single asset tokens. So let's break that down real quick if you don't know what that means. All right, so he said currently only LPs are being lent out to PancakeSwap. So the LPs will be WBNB, BUSD, all the stables. I think there's ETH, BTC, this one. So basically LPs, meaning liquidity pool tokens. These are the only ones that are being staked on PancakeSwap's farms here to generate the cake yield. And here you see the different cake yield payouts for the various farms. Now he said he's working on a deal to have a place to stake the single assets, which are the pools. PancakeSwap right now apparently doesn't have an option for us to stake our single asset pools, such as ETH, I would imagine Cake, but maybe not, BTC, BUSD, Wrap BNB. So he said he's working on a deal to have that somewhere. This is what was supposed to happen from ApeSwap, and that deal fell through. But there are other locations within DeFi for sure that he can do this. And these are the only pools available on PancakeSwap. So none of these pools represent the single assets that we have. So the reason why this is huge is because a lot of people are going to be in these major blue chip cryptos. So when you're looking at our pools, Wrap BNB, we're all on the Binance Smart Chain. So having Wrap BNB, if you're bullish on Binance, Binance got to 600 some odd dollars. We're sitting right now at about half of that, a little less than half. So having BNB available and being able to earn a yield on it is huge. You will be able to stake it here and earn dogs with it. Same thing for ETH. Everybody believes and knows that ETH being the first programmable token, it's not going anywhere. We have some EVM forks, but ETH is definitely here to stay. And of course, we have the king of them all, Bitcoin. So right now, you will put your capital in here and you get to earn dogs. But what he's saying is he wants to be able to lend this out somewhere with low risk, so it doesn't get liquidated like we saw with Celsius and Nexos, and that yield can come back to Pigpen stakers. So that's huge. That's just a lot more money coming back into the system for people who understand the value, and you don't have to do anything besides collect. So we may have a really solid low risk lending model for some assets, tokens as well, which will generate millions more BUSD a year. So that's awesome. That's really, really big news. Let's see this one. So he just goes into more detail. We're only doing the back-end lending to fully immutable, decentralized, open source options, which are intrinsically low risk. That's why we chose PancakeSwap to start. Trust me, there are plenty of other platforms we can lend to and earn a lot higher yield, but they're not even being considered. So he's all about safety and security. And then he goes into greater detail about why this is important. So let's just read this real quick in case those of you who never caught this. The best way to make money, and the way I make the majority of my wealth, is by getting into solid long-term investments, living off 1% of the dividends, he said in one podcast, or AMA 3 to 5%, while compounding the rest of my dividend back into my principal, while leveraging these positions using low-risk methods such as using them as collateral to borrow against them. This is why I built Animal Farm in the way that I did. It's the only DeFi platform that works like a real dividend model, where your dividends in the form of USD, quote unquote BUSD, just like what you would get in the traditional markets, and the system allows you to utilize a low risk form of leverage by lending your collateral to PancakeSwap. So he does this automatically for us. We don't have to do it. For an additional 40% APY. This way, you're not earning the dividend in the form of the native token, which would be PIGGs. You're earning it actually in cake being sold in the form of BUSD. So you don't need to sell your assets to secure the profit, which benefits you and benefits the project. This way you can live off 1% of the BUSD you earn while compounding the majority back into your principal and take advantage of low risk leverage to earn additional yield, which is also paid out in USD. That you can live off and compound back in your assets. I kind of think that was just repeated, but you get the point. It's not just marketing when I say Animal Farm allows you to earn as super wealthy do. It's a fact. Animal Farm is like a financial cheat code that makes it easy as possible to manage your capital in the most optimal way. Plus, the incentives are aligned perfectly, so when you do this, you are also contributing to the positive performance of the platform. Just a quick message, please like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss another video. This helps bring brand awareness to the channel, as well as all Forex Shark related projects. Thank you. So I'm gonna break this down so you can understand this even easier with the actual Animal Farm itself, because he's basically talking about living off a percentage of your dividends and compounding the bulk back in. So let's go back over to the Animal Farm. You've got assets in any of these farms and pools. And then of course, by doing so, you have now accumulated some pigs. So I have 25 pigs. Let's go for simple math. I showed you that this is possible, that a pig could be $1 a day on the low end, or even more realistic, 50 cents a day per pig. So we're gonna go with $1 for math. This means I would make $25 a day. That comes out to, what is that? $400 a month. Is my math right? My math is way off. That is $775 a month. So 25 times 30, $750. So let's just say you could live somewhere for a fraction of that, or I had much more pigs. but let's just say I could live off of 5% of this. Let's go 10% of that. So I can live off of $75 a month. I know that's not possible, but that's what he'd be referring to. So instead of me taking this money out, all of it, I would take out only 75 bucks, leaving me with 675. And of that 675 that I'm now able to claim as rewards, I would take that 675 and buy more pigs. Then that means next month, I would now be making a little more. I can take 10% of that and compound that back in or whatever. He does it yearly, but this will be the way to do it, per month or even per day. You're gonna have to get a rather large pig pen position for this to be something that you can start to live off of. But that's why this is a forever farm and a way for you to do this long term. And he's created a system that works in that way. Not to mention, you're also getting dogs from all of these farms and pools. And if you want, because you're earning these freely, you can go ahead and sell them. If you make $1,000 worth of dogs, it doesn't matter if you got a 90% tax because that's just the dividends. So you still got $100 that you can sell. Yeah, nobody wants to take a 90% tax, but again, this is free interest earning or dividends that you didn't have to sell assets to get. So there is still a way to do that. And that is something I would look at for me taking profits, maybe in the future, maybe not 90, but 70, 60, somewhere in there. I think that's, in my opinion, I'd be worth it for me. But that's the cool thing about this game theory. Everybody's gonna do it different. All right, let's move to the next update he has, which is update on the lending. So let's scroll through here. He said a lot of other stuff in here. There's another one regarding how the APY or how important it is that you're not selling pigs. So remember, the pig pen dividends are not based on the price of pigs at all. They are based on the taxes generated from the farm and from the pancake swap liquidity being, cake tokens being earned. And then that is split up to the people with pigs in the pig pen. So all it's looking at is your number of pig pens versus number of pigs in the pig pen versus the total number of other people that have locked in the pig pen, and then the total rewards. So the pig price can go up and down. It doesn't matter because you will still have your pigs and you're going to be getting paid out a percentage of that based on those rewards. So that is huge. And he just doubled down on that to explain that to people. And a lot of people don't understand that. They're not going to play this the way it's meant to be played. And that's a great opportunity for those of us that are in the know. All right, lending and borrowing. So somebody asked him, I have a question about lending in 2023. Can you expand on the concept? Are we going to be providing our Faucet funds in exchange for dividends? And he said, I don't want to expand on this because someone will try to take what I say and make a broken version. And then he said, I've worked out the logic for how we can do this already. It just needs to be built, and we have a lot lined up this year. We need to deploy, which is already built, so it will happen next year. So he did, in a couple other pieces in here, talk about things are actually 100% done. And I think it's a different 100% than the Forex standard time we've heard before. So he mentioned that Scratchy, the UI, everything is actually done. He's literally just waiting on Animal Farm to launch. And he also mentioned in these that the Dogs of Fortune game is 100% done. So I think we will have a very bullish winter moving forward, and little to no hiccups as we've seen before, because he spent this last 8 months developing all these things and growing out his team. So all it is now is a matter of clicking some buttons, pending the internet stays up globally. Like, I guess that's it. And that should be the worst case scenario. All right, so I hope you guys found that little alpha valuable. We'll see what happens with the UFC fighter branding. And again, do your research on the pig pen, build your pig pen position. I don't think right now is the time to be selling any drip to build a pig pen position, but to each his own. My go-to, as I already told you guys, is to accumulate dogs and get that wallet tax score down, as well as the loyalty score down, because I see dogs as basically my dividend that I'm earning regardless of how much is being taxed, because I will have a little bit of ETH and BTC that I will stake and some cake. And those profits are just pure profits regardless of the percentage of tax. So, all right, hope you found it valuable. You know the drill. Also, we'll be hopefully by the beginning of next week or by the time the farms launch, have some idea of the contest that I mentioned with a couple of YouTubers. I put them all in a group, and we're going to figure out how to best do it. Me getting some feedback from the community, so we'll find something that I think would be more interesting and entertaining to watch and engaging, because the whole goal is to support our channels to grow, because that supports brand awareness for our beloved drip ecosystem. So we want to find something you guys would enjoy watching, maybe a collab with all of us on stream. That would be cool as well. Who knows? All right, so we'll keep that posted, and until next time, guys, lift daily and achieve your impossible. See ya.